Talk about somebody he about that life, man. Nobody not worrying about his old ass. He need to sit back and let the youngins do it.
Gervonta Davis never forgets, and with Bernard Hopkins' departure from Golden Boy Promotions, Tank has found the perfect time to fire shots at him after what he did to him last year.
I Corte.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Bernard right now.
Tank went as far as trolling the entire Golden Boy Promotions and claimed it's never a good place for boxers to be.
Both fighters, big heart, big will.
Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins recently had a heated argument that got so bad that it ended up in De La Hoya firing his longtime business partner from Golden Boy Promotions. And this has turned Bernard Hopkins into a laughingstock before many boxing fans and professionals, including Gervonta Davis.
Whoa. Nice shot over the top.
Oscar De La Hoya held an interview recently where he was asked about Canelo Alvarez's claims of him cheating his fighters.
No, senor. I'm not defaming. I have the proofs. I have proofs. I put my lawyers in.
He initially dispelled the claims as he always would and claimed Canelo Alvarez loves talking trash.
And he tried to steal money.
That's mine.
I have proofs.
What are you going to do next?
I don't want to do anything against.
However, he was reminded of Canelo's statement about having proofs of how he was duped by Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions. And immediately, Oscar De La Hoya made a statement that was soon going to bring an end to a partnership of almost 2 decades.
That kind of guys. I don't want that vibes. I don't really give a shit about those.
This was the genesis of their feud. In responding to Canelo Alvarez's claims, Oscar De La Hoya said, "I don't know about his proof, but if there's any concrete thing, that'll be on Bernard's side. I'm clean on my part, and I can't speak for anyone else."
And it was fight of the year. I mean, come on, this was a war.
This statement seems wrong from all angles, but that's a thing about Oscar De La Hoya. Many boxing fans and professionals are hardly expecting anything right from him anymore. The fighter, he was left the fans with great memories, but as a promoter, he seems to be wiping those memories off.
It was a close fight. Virgil attacked the entire night.
Similarly, Bernard Hopkins was asked about Oscar's claims in an interview. It turned out he was just informed on the spot.
Bohacek obviously deserves all the credit in the...
Well, he gave Oscar a comeback no one would expect from a partner, further backing up Canelo's key claims about the fighter.
He deserves all the credit in the world, but
To crown it, Bernard Hopkins proved himself by asking the interviewer of the name fighters always call whenever there are issues in Golden Boy Promotions, and truly, the same name has always been heard when fighters clash with the promoters of Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya.
Virgil won.
Why do you feel he won in your opinion?
Bernard Hopkins said, "You should ask him. Canelo mentioned his name, not mine. I'm usually not in the midst of chaos. If there are problems, ask him. Me. He's the Golden Boy."
He was pressing the fight. There were not 2 knockdowns.
He then continued, "When fighters clash with us, whose name do they always call? You guys can figure these things out. Just ensure you don't ask the wrong people the right questions. Who said I personally haven't been duped as a partner?" Bernard Hopkins said as he walked past the interviewer.
So, I'm not fooled by what people might be saying.
Bernard's questions screamed loud answers, and it was enough to begin the sequence of events that ended up in a split between the pair. Oscar fired him.
Excited about. I would like to see Virgil based on Saturday.
All of this happened after a Golden Boy fighter had one of the most controversial wins of the year early this month, and it raised several questions among fans and professionals of the sport. This was the straw that broke Oscar De La Hoya's back, an action that culminated in Bernard Hopkins' departure from Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions.
This Saturday, how he looks, how he executes, and how he wins.
As a result of the split, Gervonta Davis, who's had several issues with the Golden Boy partners in the past, especially during the build-up to his fight against Ryan Garcia, spoke in an interview and claimed he really wasn't bothered about the split, but glad for fighters who would have been ruined if their union continued.
Talk about somebody he about that life, man. Nobody not worrying about his old ass. He need to sit back and let the youngins do it.
"I really don't care. Oscar and Bernard are the same, and whatever happens to them is good. They run nonsense stuff together, and I'm glad fighters can escape from their mess," he said. Gervonta Davis didn't only stop at the business partners, but trolled Golden Boy Promotions for having one of the worst stables in boxing.
Nobody not worrying about his old ass. He need to sit back and let the youngins do it.
he said, referring to the fighter whose fight caused the whole split. Virgil is trash and all Golden Boy fighters. Those guys don't want a good career.
Me a blueprint to see, yeah, he won.
Despite De La Hoya's best efforts, fans know what they saw, and they're not buying the narrative he's trying to sell.
That gives me a blueprint to see, yeah, he won, but will he win this way with Crawford?
While the fight ended victoriously for Golden Boy Promotions, the feud between the two stakeholders isn't something good for the promotion agency.
The bigger issue at play there as ruled by referee.
Hopefully, they can find a way to get over their differences. But if they don't, it simply means the pair would be returning to how they were before their collaboration in Golden Boy Promotions. The date was September 18th, 2004, and in the 9th round of his undisputed middleweight title fight with Oscar De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins smelt blood. Stalking his prey as he had done all evening long, Hopkins lines one devastating left hook to the Golden Boy's body, and De La Hoya crumpled in pain as he suffered his first knockout defeat of his pro career, writhing in too much pain to watch Hopkins somersault in celebration. Of the 65 professional fights he participated in, that fight against De La Hoya can be looked back upon as the one that shaped the man known as the Executioner's legacy on two fronts.
This could be the end for Oscar De La Hoya.
With his famous body blow knockout, Hopkins managed to unify the four major sanctioning bodies' middleweight titles: World Boxing Association, World Boxing Council, World Boxing Organization, and International Boxing Federation, in addition to the lineal and the ring middleweight belts.
Oscar De La Hoya.
This was an accomplishment that cemented Hopkins' place within boxing's annals as one of the best to ever do it, but perhaps more important than the achievement and glory of his victory over De La Hoya is what was announced a few months after their fight. In November 2004, it was revealed that Hopkins had joined De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions. This is a partnership that extended as he continued to fight into his 40s and early 50s, earning himself the nickname The Alien in the process, before he officially retired as a pro fighter following a scary knockout loss to Joe Smith Jr. that saw him fall through the ropes on Deck 17, 2016.
Hall of Fame.
Now, years after he first partnered with the man he so painfully knocked out to become the modern-day legend he's seen as, Hopkins is using his platform and that partnership he forged with De La Hoya to take on a different kind of fight.
Perfect. Dr. Rakan. Yeah.
For Gervonta Davis and Bernard Hopkins, their feud became hot when Golden Boy Promotions executive and boxing legend Bernard Hopkins was accused of rubbing testosterone cream on Gervonta Davis in an alleged effort to taint the fighter's drug sample ahead of the bout with Ryan Garcia in Las Vegas. Garcia, who was promoted by Golden Boy, had a tense face-off with Davis after the weigh-in, which briefly devolved into a shoving match between the two 136-pound fighters. Hopkins stood on the periphery of the exchange and appeared to rub his hand across Davis's back at one point, drawing the ire of the Baltimore native and his camp. "I should have slapped the hell out of B-Hop as soon as he touched me," Davis wrote in a since-deleted tweet. Then later on, Davis's trainer Calvin Ford promoted a theory on social media that Hopkins was rubbing testosterone cream on the 28-year-old's back in order to taint a drug test. "Coach, beware of B-Hop and testosterone cream," read a text message that Ford shared on Instagram. "It will make your test dirty. Be careful." Ford added his own caption, "See, this is why Bernard touched him." A Golden Boy spokesperson did not immediately respond to DailyMail.com's request for further comment. Davis continued remarking on Hopkins after the fracas, saying, "Hopkins is talking about that life, man. Nobody's worried about his old ass. He needs to sit back and let the youngins do it," Davis said of the retired champion and former prison inmate who has been stabbed numerous times. In any case, both fighters managed to clear the 136-pound limit, which was previously agreed upon during their lengthy negotiations. Punishment knockout? "It's gonna be crazy," Davis said. "Don't blink your eyes, don't get no popcorn, don't get no drinks, none of that. Make sure you're focused on the fight because it's gonna be an incredible fight." Boxing fans have spent the past couple of decades watching top fighters avoid each other in their primes and carefully pick lesser opponents so they can boost their records. The lack of big-name bouts that would have driven even casual fans to order pay-per-view helped create a noticeable lack of buzz in the sport. However, the 12-round lightweight showdown between the undefeated Davis and Garcia didn't follow that path. Both fighters are at the top of their games, and because they opted to meet, they have sent needed electricity through the sport. "I feel like this fight is big for the sport," Davis, who is from Baltimore, said Thursday. "We're drawing in a lot of people, and a win on that night is really like winning a world title again," Garcia said, seeing his face around the Las Vegas Strip brought home the meaning of this fight. "This is what I've dreamed of since I was a little boy, and now I'm here," Garcia, who lives in Los Angeles. Even though both sides recognized what the fight meant, there was genuine animosity between the boxers and their camps, a long-time war of words that continued through the news conference. Davis accused Garcia of possessing only a left hook, and Garcia said Davis didn't have much punching power. They traded several barbs during the presser, calling each other delusional, and chirped again when they came face-to-face for the traditional pre-fight promotional pose. Both promoters didn't hold back either. Oscar De La Hoya, CEO of Golden Boy Promotions, got it started by saying Davis's camp kept asking for various contractual demands to be met, which points to a team looking to protect their fighter. "Nothing feels worse than your team not believing in you." "That is a confident fighter," De La Hoya said, looking at Garcia. "That's why you're going to see Ryan come out as the new face of boxing Saturday night." Leonard Ellerbe, CEO of Mayweather Promotions, didn't back down. "We're the A side of the situation," Ellerbe said. "That's how the A side carries itself." Some of the back and forth likely was promotional shtick, but given the fight is a sellout and is expected to bring in major pay-per-view numbers, it didn't need much extra hype. De La Hoya and Ellerbe knew what was at stake when negotiating this match, and they put whatever differences they had aside to make it happen. It's not often in today's age you see two young fighters, both undefeated, both in their prime, step in the ring together, said Tom Brown, president of TGB Promotions. "This fight will be an instant classic, an all-out war, a Hagler versus Hearns. The good thing is, with Tank Davis, we have Hagler." Marvin Hagler knocked out Thomas Hearns in the third round of their epic 1985 fight, one of the most action-packed bouts in history. The Davis-Garcia winner could set up a showdown with undefeated Devin Haney, who owns all 4 major championship belts in this division. Haney faces former champ Vasily Lomachenko in May, also in Las Vegas. Although Garcia is also undefeated, questions remain about his competition level. Part of what made the match so intriguing was both boxers are capable of ending it at nearly any time. Garcia had won 19 of 23 matches through knockouts. It's like the 1990s when boxing fans knew they couldn't miss any part of a Mike Tyson fight because he could end it within seconds. In this case, both boxers were capable of doing that. A great show could elevate Davis or Garcia into a Tyson-like status that boxing badly needs, or at least begin generating the types of conversations in combat sports that have most recently been reserved for mixed martial arts. In the co-main event, undefeated WBA super middleweight champion David Morrell Jr. faced former Olympic bronze medalist Yamaguchi Falcao. Morrell, 25, is 0 with 7 knockouts, and 35-year-old Falcao is January 1st, 24, who has won 8 matches in a row, including 5 in the last 2 years.
But like he knew he would, but I was just sleeping. I would love to rematch. I gave him a shot.
As for Gervonta Davis, after Vasily Lomachenko canceled on him, it's been said that he would take on Shakur Stevenson instead, although there are several conditions that must be met before we witness the pair come together in the ring.
I stopped 2 weeks ago. I just stopped going back and forth.
The fight between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson pits 2 world champions with extremely different approaches to boxing against each other. It is, without doubt, one of the highest level fights to be made in the sport. Tank Davis has knocked out all but 2 men who stepped through the ropes with him, often giving away rounds early in order to close the distance and unleash when the time comes.
They grown men. They know if they want to fight or not. You know what I mean? All that back and forth bullshit.
Stevenson does not give away rounds. In fact, he makes it his business to win comfortably without taking much back at all. According to CompuBox, opponents land on him on average just 5, 3 times per round.
I ain't with that shit. It is what it is, you know? Just know it wasn't us.
I mean, listen, like I tell people before.
Davis holds the World Boxing Association lightweight world title and Stevenson the World Boxing Council, so the fact that it's a unification makes it all the more intriguing. When the latter split from Top Rank after a long promotional deal, fans thought there would be no obstacles in the way of making the bout happen.
As fighters, those two, going at it, throwing, they want to. That's acceptable. That's expected in the game, in the level of where they're at today in the game. That's expected. You know what I'm saying? You expect them to talk this shit, but everybody else jumping in and doing the other shit, passing opinions.
Whilst Stevenson hasn't announced his next business move, he has been pictured with Riyadh Season's Turki Alalshik, who is fast becoming the most influential man in the sport, and will likely end up at his next event, perhaps through Eddie Hearn's Matchroom.
And the fight might not never happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's
you
why I don't ever say, Mills, what I always say, Mills, I don't like to do made up stories or false information. When the fight is made and the shit is in stone and it's in solid, then come to me for my opinion. That's it. You know what I mean? Other than that, I don't really like to talk about shit, especially.
However, in an interview with Mill City Boxing, Tank's co-trainer Kenny Ellis said linking up with the man from Saudi Arabia makes the fight less likely. For Shakur, Turki Alalshik is more like protective custody because Shakur doesn't need him to make that fight, and if he does go with him, he is not going to fight Tank. So it's like PBC for real, My opinion.
Well, I know these guys are like my family, all of them. You know what I'm saying? Just different times and different places. Everybody got, you know what I'm saying? But these guys are like my family, bro. So it's like, It's
but I gotta say one thing. When I talk, not saying you was talking about me, Zab. I don't make up no stories.
As for the details as to why the fight wouldn't happen, especially given Alalshik expressing that he is keen to work with Tank, Ellis wouldn't elaborate.
When I witness something, this shit is facts. And, I said some things recently that was facts, man.
Right. Oh, nah. Yeah. But see, the reason why you're qualified to talk because you're right there every day. You right there. You hands-on, first-hand information.
I don't want to go all into it. That's just a way out, man. I wish Shakur the best with his next move. If he should fight Tank next year or this year, whenever they fight, I hope he's still undefeated. Keep the value of the fight. I believe we would still fight him if he loses, but is it still the same?
Ears, eyes, and feeling, touching you right there.
I know what's gonna happen, but I ain't gonna get on that subject with them. I wish Shakur the best with Spada, you know what I mean? Because I've been saying it for the last 2 years.
Stevenson is expected to return later this year with former super featherweight world champion Joe Cordina, now the front runner to take the opposite corner. Davis's next dance partner is unknown, but he could be back in the ring in November.
Until recently, he was the second best lightweight. But I just put Dula Mason in second. I bumped him down to third on my list.
Now that's very big. Congratulations.
But Shakur is still right there, But that's my list. Everybody got their own list. My list is Tank, Abdullah Mason, and Shakur.
And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.